fellow hobby joggers, new tripod in action. Look at that, new tripod in action. And today we are not running. I did 4 miles, I actually did 5 miles this morning. I did 4 miles with strides, then I did 1 mile with Mason. Somebody said, bro, you gotta take a rest day, bro. You don't know everything about running. That's not easing back into running after the marathon. Guess what? I do active recovery, but that's not the point of today's video. Actually, it is kind of the point of today's video because, you know, as hobby joggers and as people who are into running shoes, we're not gonna just be running every single moment of every day. We might be running every day like I do. I typically run every day. I'll take a day completely off once every month or two. But for the most of the rest of our lives, we are standing, we are looking swaggy, we are working. There was actually a great thread on the Supwell app that my guy James posted on Friday. He said, yo, post whatever shoes you're wearing on the thread. We both were actually wearing more V5s. People were wearing Hurricanes. A lot of people were wearing Jordans and Air Maxes and other types of shoes too. Check out the Supwell app, by the way, $1 a month if you want to join the best community of hobby joggers out there. But today I have rounded up best running shoes from every brand for casual use, for looking swaggy, for being comfortable, for being on your feet all day. This is a question I get asked a lot. What are the best shoes for being on my feet all day? And I did do a list of 10 most comfortable shoes. So this is going to have some overlap with that list, but that was specifically for running. This one is specifically for walking and dad/mom drip. So I'm going to do this alphabetical order, A to Z, not leaving out any of the brands that I own. There might be some brands out there that I do not own, but let us get into it. First one here, Adidas Supernova Prima. So the Supernova line from Adidas, this is their comfort line. The entire line, are we getting some shadows already? I guess I don't normally film at this time of day. We're getting some shadows with the tree. Supernova line is Adidas's comfort line of shoes. The Prima is the higher stacked, most cushioned version of the Supernova line. Adidas also has the Ultra Boost. That's more of a lifestyle shoe, not comfort oriented. It's versatile. Versatility is the name of the game when it comes to the Ultra Boost. And they have the Audi Zero shoes, which are all speed oriented. So this is my pick for being on your feet all day. I laced this up this morning to do a walking test. We went to Lowe's, we went to Best Buy because I had to buy a new tripod. I've broken this. The last one I had for a year and a half. This one broke within 1 month of use. So I'm gonna have to email the company, but given that I just generally am busy and don't want to deal with that, I'm probably just gonna take the L on it. Supernova Prima, this is my favorite because of the foam. It's nice and soft without being too squishy. Now all the shoes you'll see here aren't necessarily the softest shoes from the brands. I like to have a decent amount of support built into my walking, standing, and casual shoes. So these shoes are in that nice Goldilocks zone. Not too soft, not too firm. This is the best one that does it out of Adidas. The SL2 is good as well, but that has a narrower, more performance running fit. This has the right amount of comfort and cushion for being on my feet for a long time without feeling too narrow, without feeling too tight. It's just the perfect amount of stack. Also some nice pep and balance for walking. It's great for running as well. I'm not gonna highlight all the running qualities of these shoes because I have separate running videos, running shoe reviews on them. So that is the Adidas Supernova Prima, $160. By the way, Running Warehouse, if you're gonna buy any of these shoes, do it through my Running Warehouse link. I will put all the links below. Doing that and buying anything through Running Warehouse using my link helps support the channel. Next up here, I told you, alphabetical order, not leaving out any brands. So next up here, we have the Altra. We're gonna have to do some massaging with the lights. Carbon. Altra Via, what is it called? Forward Via. I really don't like the name of this shoe, but I used it for walking around Chicago. I used it for some miles earlier this week. It didn't blow me away, but it's a solid workhorse style shoe that was decently comfortable on foot. I haven't tested a lot of the Altra line, so this is their 4mm drop. They also have the Torin, which is a cushioned daily trainer 0mm. So if you were looking for a 0mm drop shoe, more of that flat shoe, I would go for the Torin 7, which I have not tested yet. So buyer beware, but that is their flagship product. This one is solid in that mid-moderate drop range. So if you're looking for a wider toe box, this is going to be one of the best options out there. The Brooks Ghost Max, which I'll highlight in a second, that also has a wider toe box, but if you want Ultra and you want wide, this is decently comfortable. It's starting to break in more after some running and walking use. I like it. I'm excited to get some more running miles in it. And also for casual use, I really like this colorway. Ultra did a nice job with the design of this latest batch of shoes here. So forward via. My main critique is that they should have given this a real name. Forward via is lackluster. That's a lackluster name. Right. Next up here, Asics. This is the Asics Nimbus Mirai. Asics Nimbus Mirai. So I've tested nearly all of the Asics daily trainers. Actually, I haven't tested the Kayano and the Cumulus, which are two of their more popular models. But I've tested Nova Blast, Super Blast, Nimbus, and out of those, plus all of their speed-oriented shoes, I like the Nimbus the best. It's also similar to the Cumulus, but more stack, more support, and that's what I generally will go for. I do need to get the Cumulus in here. I think I'm gonna get the Gore-Tex version for testing. The Nimbus Mirai, I pulled this one out because it's my favorite colorway. I like this more than the Paris colorway that's on the Nimbus, but this is gonna give you good cushion in the back, not as much cushion in the front as some of the other shoes here. You get more ground feel than some of the super max stack shoes, but it's just a reliable cushion shoe for standing on your feet all day. So I wouldn't necessarily pull for this over the Ghost Max, but if you want something from Asics that's comfortable, the Nimbus is going to be your best bet. The Kayano, which I will test soon, that is the stable version. I haven't highlighted, I did bring one stability shoe out here today, but if you want some stability in your walking and standing shoe, go for the Kayano. If you just want comfort and swag, go for the Nimbus. All right, next up here, speaking of Brooks, this is my favorite of all these shoes, the Brooks Ghost Max. This is the one that I pull for again and again and again, regardless of the dozen plus shoes that I have here, plus all the other shoes we have in the office. I keep coming back to this one. This is my Chicago Marathon shoe for around town, for travel, for walking. I actually brought the Saucony Hurricane with me, which I'll bring out in a second here, but I switched back to this. I wore the Hurricane to the Expo, and then after that I said, I'm going back to Old Faithful. I'm going back to the Ghost Max. So what makes this shoe great? It's the drop, so moderate drop. There's not a huge difference between the front and the back, so it has that more natural feeling for standing. And then also the foam here is just, it's perfectly tuned for standing and walking. I'm not sure what it is about it, but it's not, again, not too soft, not too firm. For running, I didn't love it, but it's almost like they designed this explicitly for walking. And the width is great as well, so you don't have to think about where you're placing your foot. You don't have to worry if you have enough stability. It's just awesome. You can see I've really put this thing through the walking paces here. So if you're looking for just one shoe and you don't care brand, this would be my top recommendation for walking and standing. You could also find it for around $100. Running Warehouse, you can use the code. By the way, if you sign up for the Supwell app, we have an exclusive code with Running Warehouse that takes 20% off of all apparel, 10% off of all clearance shoes, like the Ghost Max here, because this is the first version. Second version, not my favorite for walking and standing because they firmed it up. They added a foam that was more oriented towards running, whereas this one is more oriented towards all-day comfort. So Ghost Max, $100. My top pick out of all of these and the best out of the Brooks shoes. I prefer this over the Glycerin. Yes, I prefer it over the Glycerin Max for standing. You'll see out of this list today, I didn't pull any of those super max stack shoes above 45 millimeters. Those are not my pick for casual use. It just feels weird for me to have that much foam on foot. It's also too flashy. It's like walking around in a pair of Golden Goose or something. I'm not gonna be walking around town on a Glycerin Max or a Skyward X. Don't be that person pulling up to the coffee shop in a pair of Skyward X. No. Speaking of that, I'll pull the next one up here, but speaking of that, This is Diadora. This is their race shoe. This is what I was gonna say is at the expo, at the Chicago Marathon, you would be surprised how many people were walking around with their race shoes. Alpha Flies, Saucony Endorphin Elite. And I am sure that those people, I mean, people from all over the world, so they're flying into Chicago, spending thousands of dollars on tickets and hotels. They train for the marathon. They definitely have more than one shoe, walking around in brand new Alpha Flies and Endorphin Elites. It's not like that's their only shoe and they can't afford another shoe. They have other shoes. They're actively choosing to wear the Alpha Flies and the Endorphin Elites. I said this earlier this week. There's this sense that the race shoes because they're the most expensive, they're the best for running, they must be the best for all types of running, and they must be the best for walking. That's not the case. So if you have a pair of Alpha Flies, it's not the most comfortable shoe for walking. None of these race shoes are the most comfortable for walking. That's another reason I wanted to do this shoe, because the brands, none of these shoes that I've brought out here are the brand's most expensive shoes. They're not even the brand's most expensive training shoes for the most part. Just looking at the Supernova Prima here, they have the Ultra Boost above this. Looking at the Brooks, they have the Glycerin is more expensive than the Ghost Max, the Glycerin Max, and the Hyperion Max, and a ton of shoes more expensive than that. So the brand's best shoe for walking and standing out of their running lineup is often not the most expensive shoe. And that's for every single one of these here. But I want to give a quick shout out to Diadora. They have a lot of swag shoes. It's someone, my guy Trevor on the Supple app actually asked me to test the Cellula, and I haven't yet. This is their race shoe, the Gara. Out of these, if I had to pick a race shoe to walk around in all day, it would actually probably be this because the foam is so soft. But I just wanted to give out a shout out to Diadora. They emailed me this week. I told you, I'm not emailing any brands anymore asking them to send me shoes. I'm just going to buy them. But if someone wants to send me shoes and email me, that's fine. That's what Brooks did with the Glycerin Max. They hit me up. They sent it through. That's what actually Adidas did that with the Supernova Prima. Most of these other shoes I bought. Diadora said, bro, we're going to send you a full pack straight from Italy. They said they were waiting on the shipment to drop, and then they're going to send the load through to Mint Hill. So I don't know what it is. They said it's a new collection. So stay tuned for that. There's going to be some cool Diadora stuff coming, I'm sure. All right, next up. Bada bang, the classic, the Hoka Clifton. This is actually a really solid shoe for walking around and being on your feet all day. I like the Ghost Max more. This isn't the softest and squishiest, but because it has the supportive type of foam. Bless me. I don't think I'm gonna do this one take style. I think I probably have some cuts in here. I'll leave this anyway. Gotta hydrate. We got a mobility van pulling through. No, it's not a mobility van, but it has a crest. Some sort of a crest. Hoka Clifton. This is the Hoka Clifton 9. Very standard foam. Not the most exciting for running. My friend from college who I did Chicago with, Dante, he's a 3:56 marathoner now. This is his go-to. He uses it for running, he uses it for walking. He's run 3-4 marathons in it now. It's a solid workhorse. Got some pep, not the most pep. I was looking to make sure the mic was plugged in. I had an audio issue earlier this week. I think the mic is plugged in. But for walking, this is solid. I walked around all of Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, actually in the real Carbon County, Pennsylvania. People don't know, Carbon County, Pennsylvania, that's a real place. The stability is good. It's got some support. My feet were banged up that week, and this did a nice job easing off the pressure. So out of the Hoka lineup, Bandai, I like this more than the Bandai. That one is firmer. It feels like just too much shoe for me personally. Also keep in mind, I'm 6'2", 160 pounds. I've heard a lot of people who are bigger than I am say they love the Bandai, and there's the guys in my neighborhood, the Bandai brothers, who walk around all day with that. So that's also a solid pick. I personally like the Clifton. Also, it's the best buy. You can find colorways on sale usually at Dick's and Hoka.com and on Running Warehouse. Make sure to use my Running Warehouse affiliate code link for $110. So I'll take $110 Clifton over $160 Bandai any day of the week. Not the softest, but good support and a nice roll through. Really nice, gentle glide feel for running. So Hoka Clifton. This is an OG. And look at that. The light is just hitting that thing perfectly. All right. H. I was trying to do this in alphabetical order. I knew I was gonna miss. I missed 2. Okay. Well, that was we did the whole first box. Let's do halftime here with some 2 sleeper brands. First is Atreyu. This is the Atreyu race model. I said I wanted to highlight every brand. Just a quick shout out to Atreyu, Austin-based brand. Their logo or slogan is honor simplicity. I have not tested their daily trainer yet. A lot of people on the Supple app love the Atreyu daily trainer for walking, for standing, for casual use. What Atreyu does is they price all of their shoes cheaper than market standard. Their goal is to bring affordable products to hobby joggers. That's why I wanted to give them a shout out. I did buy this one Myself, I haven't bought the Daily Trainer yet, but stay tuned for testing on that. It is Supwell certified according to the app. My guy Kent, I think my guy TH also likes it. There's a few people who've been shouting it out on the Supwell app. The other one is the Craft Pacer. This is the most disrespected brand when it comes to road running. Both of the videos I did on craft shoes this year were two of my worst performing videos ever. I think the craft videos, they got fewer videos than my random Duke graduation vlog that I did. So craft does not get a lot of love on the road side. This is a nice midsole. The foam in here, this is the Pacer. The foam in here has some good pop. It gives me that Triumph 20 feel. And I also used it for walking, and I like the look of this. It's just a simple, clean shoe. Very basic, but if you like basic, is good. You could also find it on sale in some places. So Craft Pacer, if you are looking for a different brand, check it out. I have some videos on the channel. All right, next box. Enough of these little no-name. Who cares about no-name brands, man? Just give me the big guys. Big guys. All right, we got a big guy. We got a heavy hitter here. Bang! New Balance. So I have the New Balance 1080, not the new one. This is the 1080 V13. It's like the Brooks Ghost Max 1. It's still going to be the one I recommend. There's some cases where the latest version, let's see. I don't know. There's some cases where, just trust me, there's some cases where the latest version is better. There's other cases where that's not the case. It's like the 5th grade writing style. There are some good things and bad things about running shoes. One of the good things about 1080 V13, this is part of the Fresh Foam family. So this was a mildly to moderately difficult decision for me because we have the Balos, we have the More V5, we have the 1080 V13, we have the 1080 V14. I'm going classic, super soft, decent amount of support, and the kicker is you can still find this because the new model just came out. You can still find the older model on sale, and using my discount code, my guy Slick, who Slick certified this shoe, said he got it for 110. He said he got it for 110 on Running Warehouse. So if you use my code on Running Warehouse with this, that will take 10% off of the 130 discount price already. So I prefer this to the V14 for walking, and I use the V14. There's not a huge difference, but if there's going to be a $50 price difference, bang. This is also 5% softer, which is nice. It's nice. It also feels 5% more cushion for some reason, which I know is not the case. They might have actually bumped up the stack height, but I just love this shoe. This is a perfect soft cushion recovery shoe. It's lighter on foot than the More V5. It's a lot less expensive than the Balos, which is $200, and that shoe doesn't do all that much more for me than this. So New Balance 1080 V13. All right, another big heavy hitter here, going alphabetically. You know who it is. It's the swoosh. It's the swoosh. I'm going Zoom structure here. This is my favorite Nike for standing and walking. It's also the Nike that I feel is the best for standing and walking. So the other one that you might want to consider from Nike is the Infinity Run, which I gave away, Infinity Run 4. That uses the React X foam, which is in the Pegasus 41, which I absolutely hate. This uses Cushlon. I love Cushlon 3.0. They actually use it in the cheaper shoes from Nike. The Rival and the Windflow, I think, has Cushlon. So it's a solid foam. It's like a less bouncy Light Strike Pro, but that same density to it. And the structure, this is Nike's stability shoe. So you can see it has this clip in the back. Also, like a lot of these other shoes, you can find it for sale a lot. So Nike Structure 25, tons of different colorways. Oh gosh. I hope that wasn't some sort of a... Some of these shoes I haven't worn so long that there's spider webs on them. Not the Zoom Structure though. I wore this one decently recently. Decently recently. I'm an up on decently recently. Oh, sir. All right, let's go to the next one. You know about the Zoom Structure. Decently recently. Decently recently. I'm beasting it easily. Okay. Next up, N-O-O-N. See, because we went from New Balance and Nike to O. And this brand is the and on. I'm gonna give 2 picks for on. First is the Cloud Runner. This has that OG classic on feel. So if you are looking for an on, not a QC, an on, and you want that old school on, clean suburban look, the Cloud Runner is the best choice. It's simple, it's good looking, it has those big AirPods. There's not a lot going on here, but it's comfortable, it's supportive. Charlie has beaten her pair into the ground. I did a 10-mile run in my pair, and I've worn it once or twice other than that, and it's solid. It's just a solid shoe. Now the other pick is the Cloud Eclipse. This has them big old holes, big old Cloud Tech pods. Cloud Tech phase is what they call it here. So you can see you have the dominoes over here, and then on this side, you have the regular Cloud. So this one has a more exciting feel to it, a lot more cushion. It gives you that high off the ground stack feel. So if you're looking for a max stack shoe from On, I would go Cloud Eclipse. If you want closer to the ground, simple, traditional, I would go Cloud Runner. This is also a great mild stability shoe. I had to pop out on them with 17 running shoe brands in one video. Boys still mad I did their peak week on my down week. All right, we got Puma up next. I bet you thought I was gonna say Mad Max. Mag Max. Orange, you glad I didn't say Mag Max? Here's the thing. I already told you guys, I don't like a ton of stack underfoot. I'm not going above 43, 44, or 45 for walking around town getting a matcha oat milk latte. You're not gonna catch me pulling up to Brakeman's Coffee Supply in a pair of Super Blast V1s. Man, the lighting is super weird here now. I just think I just don't film at this time of day usually, and it's a Saturday right now, but the sun is right behind the tree. Here's the thing, if you only have the pair of Super Blast and that's your only running shoe, I get it, I respect it, but there's so many more other comfortable shoes than the Max Stack shoe. You don't need to walk around in a pair of Boston 12s. I just don't like the way that those types of shoes feel. So this is the Forever Run Nitro. Super comfortable shoe for walking around. I tested it out again this morning because I wanted to pull for a Puma. I don't love the way a lot of their shoes fit my foot other than the Mag Max and this. Velocity Nitro 3, tight. Deviate Nitro 3, tight. I would also give the Magnify Nitro a shout. And by the way, if you are looking for a Puma or you want to get a really good deal on a running shoe, check out Ross. I don't know if we have any Ross around us, but people are always posting these deals. I found a pair of Puma Magnifies for $40 on Ross. I found the Forever Run Nitro for $40 on Ross. So it's crazy. This thing is a mild stability shoe. It uses a version of Puma's Nitro foam. They call everything Nitro, which is confusing because Nitro is the same thing that's in the Mag Max, but these are two different foams. But decent amount of bounce for running. I didn't find it the most exciting, but good stability, good cushion. Gonna be a solid option for running. I also don't love the swag here. I like the all-white version of the Mag Max, but you might be able to find this in a good colorway. This looks like a pair of basketball shoes that Marcus Smart would wear, because Marcus Smart is a Puma athlete. All right, P, S, Saucony. Finally, Saucony. So we're now to the Saucony Hurricane. This is Saucony Hurricane 24. Might be my favorite looking running shoe this year for casual wear. This colorway here is beautiful. It's a tan on the top, white stripe of foam here in the middle, and then maroon on the bottom. It's a really good combination. The foam, the midsole is awesome for walking, good pep, good impact absorption. Downside for me is the toe box is narrow. I haven't talked a ton about the fit of these shoes, and typically if a shoe doesn't bother me with the fit, I don't address it. This one does. This does mildly bother me with the fit, and that's why I switched to the Ghost Max for my Chicago trip. I brought this and it just wasn't that comfortable. So with some of the Saucony shoes, I need a wider fit. It's one of those things that sometimes will go away once I have it on foot, and also depends on the socks I'm wearing, but it can be tight up in the front here. Another thing to note is that because this is a mild stability shoe as well, another theme that you have seen here today, these mild stability shoes are good for walking. It does hold the back of the foot down really good. So if you don't like the feeling of the back of your ankle being caressed might not be the shoe for you. But super comfortable, lots of padding, lots of cushion underfoot. Great for walking, great for being on your feet for a long time. Just keep in mind, toe box can be snug for some people. It also is for me, because a lot of people had an issue with the More V5, which I did not. For me, it's the point at which they have the widest part. For Saucony, it's something about the narrowness right up at the front, right where the side of my toe hits, that just doesn't do it. But midsole is really comfortable. All right, last two here. I'm realizing we snubbed Under Armour. We have some T's. We don't have Under Armour U. I got to try an Under Armour. But Tracksmith, also a swaggy looking shoe. I put 100, 200 miles on this guy. They only have one shoe. This is their one shoe. So that's why I made the list. But I would also put it on best shoes for walking and casual use in general, because it looks really good. It's clean. It's comfortable. Good pep for walking. I preferred it for walking over running. It does have a 10 millimeter drop, but that doesn't bother me for walking. And it has this thick removable insole. Camera died, but it has the thick removable insole similar to the Cloudboom Strike. So if you're looking for that soft step-in feel, it's a nice pick. It gives a lot of that comfort for walking around town. And man, look at this Tracksmith New England aesthetic. That's prep school autumn certified right there. Let me tell you that. All right, last one here. This is 100% not prep school certified. This is, what's that thing called that people do? Outward Bound. This is Outward Bound certified. Topo, shout out Topo. So another one where if you want a wider toe box like with the Altra, check out Topo. If you want a wider toe box combined with a very soft foam, check out Topo. That's what this is the best at out of all these shoes here, and that's what Topo is the best at in general, given that tight or wide toe box with a tighter and more secure heel like Altra. But this is a 5 millimeter drop, similar to, what's the other one we just had here? Ultra Forward Via. That shoe needs a real name. Atmos is a real name. Elliott is a real name. Pacer is a real name. Cloud Eclipse is a real name. Ghost Max is a real name. Forever and Nitro is a real name. Hurricane is a real name. Forward Via, that's not a real name. That's not a real name. Atmos here, you can see this is Charlie's pair. It is completely wrecked because she loved it. She wore it so much because she loved it. She was actually really surprised how soft it was and borderline at times unstable, even with the wide base, but you can see it tapers up and is narrow. They may be doing something to address that at the Topo HQ. Maybe we'll see a new model coming soon, hopefully, that addresses that. But this is the old or current Topo Atmos. Very soft, very squishy, very comfortable. Charlie loves it for standing and walking, but if you need some stability, I would go for the Ghost Max. I would go for the Forever on Nitro, the Hurricane, basically any of these other shoes. Cloud Runner, Zoom Structure are all going to have better stability than this. So those were all the brands today. That was a fun one to do. Let me know which of these are your favorites. Let me know what you are currently rocking for dad drip and mom drip. And I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Don't forget to use my Running Warehouse links. I'm trying to say it multiple times. Charlie told me I need to say it multiple times. All right, I'll be back tomorrow with another video.